population standard deviation. You do the entire population. We're now going to do the sample standard deviation. The only difference is instead of using just the n here, the number of things, you're going to do n minus 1. Otherwise, it's basically the same formula that we did on the previous one. So let's go to the sample standard deviation. Right there. So again, we're going to start by finding the mean, which they'll call x bar of our list of numbers, as I throw my paper clip on the ground. And so we're going to take 11 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 9 plus 4. We're going to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers this time. Now notice this will say find the standard deviation of this sample. So you know you're doing sample standard deviation instead of the full population standard deviation. So first of all, we're going to add those up, divide by 6 to find our mean.
8.
And our mean is going to be 8. Now our formula is going to look pretty much the same, except the bottom number is going to be n minus 1, the number of things minus 1. So in this case, again, we're going to do 11 minus 8 squared plus 6 minus 8 squared plus 8 minus 8 squared plus 10 minus 8 squared plus 9 minus 8 squared plus our 4 minus 8 squared. Instead of dividing it by 6, we're going to do 6 minus 1, which we know is 5. So that's the only difference between the population standard deviation formula and the sample standard deviation formula.
So you just want the top number right
So
now?
I just want the top number first. Yep. The top number is,
I don't know if mine's right, but I got 5.4.
whoops, you got a point in there. There's maybe something wrong.
I don't know what it is.
34 should be what you get. 34, and then we'll put it over the 5. Let me see what you got typed in there. Oh, you already got the square root over it. That's why. You're doing the square root of the top number instead of just finding the top number.
Oh.
That's what we're doing different. We're doing the square root at the end.
Okay.
So we're just putting in this part right here, the top of our fraction. So the top of our fraction should give us 34. On the bottom, we're going to use 5 because we have 6 minus 1. And so now we're going to do the square root of 34 fifths, rounding to 2 decimal places again. So we just started with the print. We're just doing this top part here. We're not worried about the square root yet.
I did all that.
Okay.
This part is
Okay.
what I'm getting.
So you're going to do the square root, which you do second function in this button here. And then you're just going to put the 34 divided by 5. And close your parentheses, and then hit enter. Okay, there's not a fraction button on your graphing calculator. You just use the division for a fraction. So when we round that off to 2 decimal places, our answer was 2.61. So the sample standard deviation, 2.61. All right, let's try number 8 then. The red blood cell count in 10 to the 5th cells per microliter of a healthy adult measured on 6 days RS. Whoa, my board's blinking on me. What do I have there? Oh, are we going to be difficult? There we go. All right, so we're going to start and find our mean, or X bar as they call it. 48 plus 54 plus 53 plus 50 plus 52 plus 55. And we're going to divide that by 6 since we have 6 numbers there. And you got 56, you said? 52. 52. 52 is our mean. Putting that into the formula for standard deviation, calculating just the top part with the parentheses, we're going to do 48 minus 52 squared plus 54 minus 52 squared plus 53 minus 52 squared plus 50 minus 52 squared plus 52 minus 52 squared plus 55 minus 52 squared. On the bottom, we're going to use n minus 1, so 6 minus 1 again, going to be a 5 that ends up being on the bottom of our fraction.
It'd be 34.
You got 34? See, oh, now you figured out what I was doing. So 34 over 5, we got to do the square root of 34 fifths then. Huh, that's the same thing we had before. We got to get the same answer then. 2.61, right? They won't all come out to that. Crazy. All right, so number 9, the monthly salaries in thousands of dollars of a sample of 6 sales representatives are as follows. 13, 10, 7, 11, 6, and 13. Find the standard deviation of this sample. So we want to find where the majority of the items fall in as far as the spread of our numbers. We're first going to find the mean. And you already found it. What was our mean? 10. Once we find our mean, we can plug that into our formula. And so 13 minus 10 squared plus 10 minus 10 squared plus 7 minus 10 squared plus 11 minus 10 squared plus 6 minus 10 squared plus 13 minus 10 squared all over. And of course they gave us 6 again. 6 minus 1 is going to be a 5 on the bottom.
It'd be 44.
44. So we're going to have the square root of 44 fifths. And we're going to round that off to 2 decimal places.
2.97.
2.97. So again, just for practice, we're going to grab our calculator. And we're going to put those 6 numbers into our list and calculate the statistics on that. So if you hit the stat button again, if you hit 1 to edit, remember if you highlight L1, hit clear and enter, it clears out your list, unless you just want to type over your numbers. And then we're going to type in those 6 numbers. 13, 10, 7, 11, 6, and 13. Once you have those numbers in your list, you're going to hit Stat again and cursor over to the Calculate. So cursor over to Calc, and we're going to calculate number 1. And you want to have list 1 for your list. At least that's where I put my numbers. And then you can go down to Calculate and enter. And so, on this one here, we found the sample standard deviation. It looks like an S in front of the X. So it looks something like that on your calculator. That's the one that's the sample standard deviation. You can see that you have 2.966479, so forth and so on. So, the one with the S is the sample deviation. The one, it's called mu. That looks like this is your population standard deviation when you calculate your statistics. So try them on your paper pencil, check them with your calculator if you'd like. That way you know if you're getting the right answers.